Before you decide this is just another horror video, let me warn you. Tonight's stories aren't about ghosts. They're about something worse. About realizing that people remember things you never did. And that someone else might be slowly living your life better than you ever did. If that thought makes you uncomfortable, you should probably keep watching. Story 1, He Wasn't My Roommate. It started with small things, the kind you usually laugh off, things that don't feel important at the time, like the day I came home and noticed a shirt draped over a chair in the dining area. It was a faded green Henley from a small online brand I like. I remember smiling because I was wearing the exact same shirt. "Nice taste," I called out casually. Alex poked his head out of his room, nodded once, and said he'd seen it online, said it looked comfortable. I didn't think much of it. Finding a roommate in this city is a nightmare, so when I met Alex, I thought I'd gotten lucky. He was quiet, paid his rent on time, never brought people over, and mostly kept to himself. He worked from home doing some vague data entry job and didn't talk much about his life. For the first 6 months, he barely existed in my world. We passed each other in the hallway, shared an occasional comment about bills, and that was it. He felt like background noise. A week later, I came home to the smell of burnt garlic and music blasting from his room. My favorite band. That alone felt strange, but when I knocked and he opened the door, I froze. He'd cut his hair, short, messy, exactly like mine. It didn't suit him. His face was rounder, softer, and the haircut looked wrong, like something he was trying on. I joked about it, expecting him to laugh. He didn't. He just said it was a popular style and avoided eye contact. That's when the knot started forming in my stomach. After that, the changes became harder to ignore. He started using my phrases, my tone, even the way I reacted to things. Hearing my own words come out of his mouth felt wrong, like listening to a recording that was slightly out of sync. One night, I confronted him in the kitchen while he was making coffee with my French press. I asked him why he was copying me. He looked genuinely confused and calmly suggested I was stressed, maybe imagining things. The way he said it made me doubt myself. That weekend, my friend Mark texted me, annoyed that I'd ignored him earlier. I hadn't left the apartment all day. He said he'd seen me on the street, wearing my leather jacket, walking the same way I always do. My jacket, I checked my closet, it was gone. Later that night, Alex came home wearing it. When I told him it was mine, he barely reacted. He said he'd owned it for years and suggested maybe I was forgetting things. That was when I started locking my door. I took photos of my belongings just to reassure myself that I wasn't losing my mind. Still, things slipped. My friends grew distant. They referenced conversations I never remembered having, jokes I never told. Somehow, Alex knew details about my life that I couldn't remember sharing. Slowly, without realizing it, I became the unstable one. He became the reliable friend. Last night was when everything broke. I couldn't sleep, so around 3 in the morning I got up for water. As I passed the bathroom, I glanced at the mirror and stopped. My reflection was delayed. I blinked, and it blinked a moment after me. I leaned closer. It didn't. It stayed perfectly still. Same face, same scar, same tired eyes. Then it smiled. It wasn't my smile. It was wide and knowing. I stumbled backward, my heart pounding, and when I looked again, the mirror was normal. Alex was standing in the doorway, asking if I was okay. I didn't answer. I was staring at his shirt, the old university t-shirt I'd been wearing to bed. I didn't sleep after that. This morning, my phone was full of messages. People asking why I was moving out, why I hadn't told them, why I needed space. They said Alex explained everything. I tried to respond, typing and deleting messages over and over. How do you explain something when it sounds insane even to you? When I looked in the mirror later, everything was normal. My reflection moved when I moved. My face looked like my face. And that's what scares me the most. Because if nothing is wrong now, then how do I explain everything that already happened? I don't know if Alex was copying me. I don't know if I imagined parts of it. All I know is that people recognize him faster than they recognize me. And sometimes I catch myself wondering, if I stopped paying attention, how long would it take before I started copying him instead? Story 2, they knew me before I spoke. I started a new job 3 months ago. Nothing special. A mid-sized office with an open floor plan, shared kitchen, and security badges for every door. The kind of place where everyone looks busy, but no one really knows each other. On my first day, I arrived early. The receptionist wasn't there yet, so I stood near the entrance scrolling on my phone. A man in a blue shirt walked past me, tapped his badge, and held the door open. "Morning," he said, like he already knew me. I assumed he'd seen my face during interviews. I thanked him and went inside. During that first week, small things kept happening. People greeted me by name before I introduced myself. Someone dropped a document on my desk and said, "Same as last time," even though it was the first time I'd seen it. A woman from accounting asked if I was feeling better after my cold. I hadn't been sick. I told myself it was normal office confusion. Big companies mix people up all the time. The first time it really bothered me was when my badge stopped working. I tried to enter a restricted corridor and the scanner flashed red. Security came over, checked my badge, and frowned. He said the system showed my badge had been used there the day before. I told him I wasn't even in the building that day. He laughed it off and blamed a system delay, but the look on his face said he wasn't fully convinced. That night I checked my work email. There was a calendar reminder I didn't create, a meeting I didn't schedule, notes written in my tone, but not by me. Nothing dramatic, just enough to make me uneasy. The next week, it escalated. My manager asked why I'd changed my availability. HR emailed me about a conversation I never had. Someone thanked me for staying late to help them on a night I clearly remembered leaving early. Every explanation I gave sounded weaker than the last. I finally went to it. They pulled up my account history, logins, door access, file edits. All of it showed activity during times I wasn't there. I told them the system had to be wrong. They didn't argue. One of them just asked carefully if anyone else could be using my badge. Let me ask you something. If people at your job remembered things you never did, would you assume it was a system error? Or start wondering how long it's been happening without you noticing? That night, as I was leaving the building, a man stepped out of the stairwell. He was wearing the same company jacket as me, same badge clipped to his belt. From a distance, I almost waved. He nodded first, didn't smile, and walked past me like we'd already spoken. The next morning, my access was limited. Certain doors wouldn't open. Certain files were gone. My manager asked me to clarify some inconsistencies. HR asked if everything was okay at home. I tried to explain, but the more I talked, the worse it sounded, so I stopped talking altogether. Yesterday, I found a desk on the far side of the floor with my name on it, printed, official, not temporary. The chair was still warm, like someone had just stood up. I didn't sit down. I went to the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. Nothing strange, no delay, no wrong reflection, just me. And that's what scared me, because whatever is happening doesn't feel aggressive. It feels procedural, like a system correcting itself, like I'm being slowly phased out. I still come to work, I still do my job, but fewer people come to me with questions now. They already asked someone else. And I'm starting to wonder if the problem isn't that someone is pretending to be me, but that somehow they've decided I'm no longer necessary. If this story made you uncomfortable, comment "not necessary" below. Like the video if you believe systems don't always make mistakes. And subscribe, because the next story might feel even closer to your life.